Hey, Vinsant, it's Liam. As part of our Fall Golf Academy, I'm sending the parents a video of what we're working on with their kiddos while they attend our academy. You've seen one of these before. Uh, Aris is doing great. So because he's seen one of these before, I won't be long here. Great setup. I mean, that's really good. One of the things we work with all the kids on is trying every shot we hit, we want to line up the board next to us so that our feet, knees, hips, shoulders have more of a tendency to be parallel to that to set up some good fundamentals. He's got a pretty good grip. His grip gets a little bit on the strong side, which means the right hand of his turns a little bit too much underneath the club. Might see a little bit more of that from the front angle. But really good setup. He might need to get a half inch closer to the ball. But essentially, Aris has got pretty good playing. Now, he gets a little bit off here. If you notice, the club goes a little bit underneath his hands. Right there, gets a little bit under the line. Anything under the line, I tend to refer to as the no-fly zone. So with me and Aris, the thought we work on a lot is imagine you have an axe in your hand. An axe goes more, obviously, up as you swing. So I want him to hinge his wrist a little bit more up than he does so the club doesn't get under the plane there. Because the tendency is for a lot of folks, when they get it under the plane there, that they bring it just a little bit over the plane on the way down. So you can see Aris is, to me, his hands and shaft are just about 2 to 3 inches too high there. They at this time should be dropped down a little bit more along this line right here. And that forces him or causes him to hit the ball a little to the right. The club comes down just a little bit at too much of a chopping angle. So he tends to be a little bit in front of stuff, shoulders a little bit open. He hits down on things too much, causes him to hit some pretty big divots sometimes. Hits his driver a little too low, and especially with driver, has a little tendency to slice. So that's what we're working on with there, is trying to get the club a little bit more up in the backswing. Use the wrist, feel like you have an axe in your hand, so that the club doesn't quite come as steep as it does on the way down. That little move right there will cost him a little yardage and a little consistency, where he gets his hands just a little coming down a little too steep, chopping at stuff a little too much. Let's look at it from the front angle here. This is Aris. Yeah, so you can see this. The right hand tends to sit a little strong, a little bit underneath the club. It's hard to see in there. I didn't get a close up, but beyond that, you're going to watch just a really good-looking golf swing. I think he hit this shot pretty good, if my memory serves. So he does a great job of getting wound up. Doesn't use his hips and legs a whole lot. That's great. He's behind the ball. Great. Stays behind the ball. Typical, we mentioned this when me and Aris looked at the video, typical of someone that kind of comes across it just a little bit or a little steep. Their arms don't fold beautifully when they go through. So his left elbow looks like he's kind of elbowing somebody that's behind him, which tends to keep that face a little bit open, and that happens when we're a little steep. But if he would come a little bit more shallow on the way down, you see that crossover right there happen just a little bit quicker. But otherwise, real good. So that's really the only thing we're working on, and obviously short game of putting and trying to establish those fundamentals. So have a good day, Vinsant.